Agya Chakra is just like that. But they call it the, what, Egyptian, what? No, it's not that. You see, this symbol has come to you from unconscious, is the Agya Chakra. Is this it? Egyptians didn't know much about God, I must tell you. Of course, pyramid is all vibrated. But the way they were so much worried about their dead is horrifying. Imagine these bones buried in the one box of gold, then one box of silver, then one box of this, and all the ornaments kept with the dead. The dead is finished into bones, the ornaments are there. I have seen that in Egypt. Mad people, I must say. It's Sadat who would have brought it round. But let's see, something new will happen there in that country. Traditional countries have wisdom, inbuilt wisdom, and they go on improving because they have tried all these methods and they know where to go. He didn't talk of death. They learnt it from the people, pharaohs and all that, who had all this kind of a funny mummies going around and keeping the dead in a silver box, and as if the dead knows where is the silver. Christ has said many things which we do not pay attention to. One of them is about the dead. In every church, I was happy to know that in this church there is no cemetery. You walk into a cemetery if you have to go to a church. A lady who came from India, she said, everything seems to be upside down in England. I said, what? She said, I went to see a church, and all the dead were laid there under my feet, and I was holding my sari walking like this. I was thinking I was going to step, and the lady with me said, what? You should walk straight. She said, how can I? You see, these are dead here. It's like a cemetery. And she was walking carefully because they must be respected. You take your children to those churches. I mean, I don't know. You don't understand that God has talked about spirits in so clear ways. Of course, maybe it's not so much in the Bible, maybe. But he showed that he took out the spirits. He talked of spirits of so many people and put them in the pigs and put them in the sea. All this is so clearly given. Still, just see the Christian nations. Today's newspaper was their one free newspaper. Witchcraft, devil's den, devil's angels, this guru, that guru, psychic, ESP, all kinds of spirits. Imagine. I mean, in Indian picture, you won't even find one advertisement like that. Maybe some of the gurus might try, but in India, people know who is real and who is not. Most of them know. Why, here I find all kinds of things which are negative, which has something to do with the spirits we are doing. It is against Christ. Why should we bother ourselves about the spirits? Let them alone. Like somebody's father is haunting, somebody's mother is haunting. Now they have done so much for you, now forget them. Let them be born again to get their realization. Then you call somebody spirit here, somebody's spirit from there. Some spiritualist goes into a funny gesture and you start believing that and asking about your future and this and that. It's all very superfluous and absolutely silly against your spirit. I've told you yesterday, those people who indulge into this for 7 generations, they suffer. 7 generations. I'm telling you from my experience. And those who go to them also suffer. Even the countries where this is practiced too much. If a child is born there, I know of a lady whose child was born in a country like that. And he had this agya protruding just like this. And when he saw me, he started screaming and shouting. He couldn't bear me. And today he's a different child, I saw. He's a French child. He's a very different child. Absolutely. But he was so much and so many spirits in him you can't imagine. And she told me that she had a nurse who was from that country and perhaps she has done something to him. So the source of this is already unlimited. You don't have to pay for it. You stand outside and you can get any one of them. It's very easy to catch on them. Very easy. For example, somebody asked me, how do you catch a spirit? I said, very simple. You put a light before you. Of course, you don't try all that stick. And make a hole in a black paper. Little hole. And through that hole you see the spirit. You see that light. And you will get a spirit into you. You get any name which is commonly used and go on chanting that name. You will get into a spirit. You start saying any absurd thing in the presence of God, in the presence of the picture of God or of Christ. You insult or do anything, you get into it. It's the easiest thing to get a spirit in you. You start jumping too much, you get it. You start saying, hoo, you get it. You do any funny thing, you get them. They are all around. They are busybodies. They want to use you for their purpose. They are very easily available. Why do you pay for them? You pay such a lot of amount just to get one of them on top of you. You have to be your master, I told you. You have to be in the way Christ was. It's only He has the power to raise the Kundalini of people like that, as you do now. He was created in that immaculate way in which you have been given realization in the same immaculate manner. So have your self-esteem. You are not going to become slave of these horrible, useless, sly, aggressive people who are hanging around just to trouble you because their ambitions are not fulfilled, or they are sly, or they are sadist, or they are masochist, and all that kind of thing. You are seekers of high quality. Rise up to yourself. This is the message of Christ to you. Because He resurrected Himself. Did He dance? Or did He say hoo hoo ha? Even He was tempted by Satan. Uninvited, the Satan arrived there, uninvited. Nobody asked Him to be there. He has fasted for you, so you don't fast. If you fast, you will get a fasting spirit in you. If you overdo your Hatha Yoga, you will get a spirit which will do much more Hatha Yoga till your ribs break out. Yeah. They'll take you to extremes, you see. You see those mad people running, jogging on the road. They will get it very soon. I'm only worried about them. You see, all these extra things, there is no need to do. Today we saw one of the circus or some sort of thing that was there. Poor 3 people from somewhere, I think from Spain and all that. And the Vishuddhi was so badly catching in them. Poor things were putting all the pressure, going like this, going like that. And they said they are statues, whatever it is. I said, I had simple pity for them. I said, what are they up to? I mean, you can have real statues like that, but why make human beings behave so funny, so extra energy consumers? Why? Why? You are human beings. You are delicate things. Why do you want to stand on your heads? Why do you want to do something that you are not supposed to do? You have to stay in the central path in a sensible way, in a very normal way, to get your realization. Need not do anything that is extreme. Always avoid the extremes. But you tell something to someone, it's impossible. Human beings must start doing it. You give him a cycle, till he breaks his head, he will not give up his cycle. You give them the skates, till he completely is in an accident, he won't give up his skates. It's impossible to deal with that. To be in the center is the easiest thing. Just to be in the center, in the balance. Before going to the Sahasrara, I want to tell you about the balancing, because tomorrow I am going to tell you how the diseases are caused. So the balance is, because if you use any one of these powers, for the first power is of superego, through which we run away from places. We avoid, we are frightened, we have fears. The another is of aggression, the right hand side is the ego. Any one of them, if you use too much, the other one gets frozen. For example, a person who thinks too much and plans too much and thinks that he is responsible for the whole world's affairs, you see, and he is doing all the work, while he doesn't do anything, God does everything. In the myth that he is, develops his ego to a great extent, by which his left side suffers too much. And then, first thing he develops is all the problems of the left side in the organ. First of all, the poor Swadhisthana cannot look after the liver, so he develops a liver. Then on the left hand side it is absolutely useless, so he develops diabetes. Diabetes is not caused by sugar by any chance, I can tell you. Of course, you should not take too much sugar also. I mean, too much of everything is wrong. But you must take sugar. It's important for your liver to have your sugar there. But it's an idea in the head of people that if you take sugar, you get diabetes. Not at all. It is caused by overthinking. Absolutely. Not by sugar. In an Indian village, a farmer takes at least every day half a kilo of sugar, for your information. And they do not know what diabetes is, because he doesn't think. He just does. If you want to solve your problem of diabetes, you have to develop your thoughtless awareness, which you get when Christ is awakened within you. He thinks for you. You don't have to think. You just be in that silence, that bliss. And then Swadhisthana can look after the other side. Diabetes is absolutely curable through Sahaja. Then people who suffer from the troubles of the spleen, like anemia and all those things. But the worst of all is the blood cancer. Blood cancer is the worst thing you suffer from spleen. Now, how it is caused? A person who is very busy, you see, is a big man, he has no time. So he gets out of his bed, puts on his trousers, and he's there for the breakfast, standing, he's eating something. All right. Poor this spleen is trying to cope with that emergency, is trying to give some blood. Suddenly, he jumps into his car, he's driving. He goes and meets other who are on the way, have jammed his way. So he's cursing them, doing all kinds of things. He is very speedy, you see, he must go. And he can't bear that jam. This speediness comes to you because this spleen becomes mad, it becomes crazy. It doesn't know how to cope with a madman like that. He has no time to sit down and eat.